Hi, this is BK Black Krishna from manfulwars.com, where I'm promoting polite patriotism to help nice ladies and gents teach kids, look, talk, and feel great, and discuss and share lots of great information they find online, offline, locally to be nice, helpful people improving where they live. So check out the manfulwars.com website and the links below for PayPal and direct deposit donations. Most important thing is money, power, and respect. Not a lot of people working on this. I'm one of the foremost people who can. I proved it's totally cool in a diverse city like Toronto. And if it's cool in Toronto, it can work anywhere in the world. So, this is something that I'm pushing at manfulwars.com. Check it out and please do support, because the more I get, then the more success makes more success, right? And right now, people are acting sheepish and sideways, not acting like nice, polite Canadian ladies and gents, among others, and then making each other too uncomfortable to respect each other and communicate well or feel empowered or empowering and so on, and then rushing to YouTube and podcasts and listening to hours and hours and hours of online content, but then they're unable to use that to improve the lives of each other and where they live as effectively as they could with meetings and posters and flyers and street actions and more and more and more, and just generally more informed and empowered people who don't make it harder to talk, but who make it easier to talk. Because as long as you're nice and everybody likes being nice, then the people that want to say get bad guys can go, meh, probably help, and they'll let you do that too. And it'll make it easier for them to move where you live. And so manfulwars.com for more and support the efforts, and then we'll see more efforts like it, and things will be better wherever you are and wherever you want to go. And otherwise, this video is called Rudyard Kipling's If, is a classic red pill anthem we can all use today. Rudyard Kipling's If. And I was inspired to look up this poem because I remember, in thinking about my own efforts and the efforts in general, hearing a fellow Toronto boy bitch about the quality, intelligently bitch. He's not bitching. He's not acting like a bitch or a bitch's bitch, making more bitches who make more bitches. But he was critiquing the crap conversations that are happening in Toronto, where a lot of people are like, not saying much, not challenging each other with much. They're kind of echoing and virtue signaling the same simple, stupid things to make them not look like an evil, Nazi, sexist, phobic jerk or whatever. And so it's just boring crap that, you can't even challenge because people might get upset. So people are stuck with boring crap. Wonder why they're acting rude and sketchy instead, making each other uncomfortable, and then running to YouTube where they can finally see some people that are talking without getting worked up and forcing you to look at them, making you put up with them, and so on, right? And so Adam Daniel Mezei, I recommend checking him out. Adam Daniel, and Mezei or Zei if you prefer, if you're not in Canada. And so you can check out his channel on BitChute, YouTube, wherever, and support his work. But I was inspired by hearing that and by thinking about my own experiences with Toronto Truth Seekers and others, a group I was with several years ago that did amazing stuff. We met every Saturday at Dundas Square in 2009 especially, and we engaged with tons of people. We handed out lots of flyers and DVDs, had great conversations. We did such a good job, we were covered by the CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, who a lot of good people inside want to do good work. And you might think media, evil, and even I crap on the CBC, carefully boring Canadians, a lot of crap content, but there are good journalists in there that want to do good work. And what they won't do in many cases is cover issues that will make them seem weird or odd, or, oh, are you one of those people that believes in crazy things? Uh-oh, and lose their job or whatever. But what they will do is they will try and cover Canadians doing a good job as certified by other Canadians. And this can work anywhere in the world. So they saw us doing a good job, saw how people around were interacting with us, and a producer there got in touch with Dan Dix at press4truth.ca, press4truth.ca, another great guy and great channel I recommend you check out. So check him out on YouTube, BitChute, other platforms. And got in touch with him because he was affiliated with us, and he got in touch with us, and we said sure, right? And we focused on what they needed to focus on. They were there for a couple of hours. They interviewed a bunch of passerby. They took a bunch of shots of us at our little table at Dundas Square in the heart of Toronto near a giant mall with thousands of people coming and going as polite, patriotic Canadians, minding our business, talking to each other, talking to people that wanted to talk to us, passing on free DVDs or flyers or vaccine exemption forms, among other things at the time, because there was an H1N1 pandemic scare at the time. So thousands of parents were rushing towards us and coming up to see us and, hey, I've got 2 kids. Are you the guys with the vaccine exemption forms? Can I have 2, please? And we're like, sure. You can go to vran.org and you can download the PDF yourself and print it. But sure, here you go. Take these, sign them, send them to school with your kid, and they won't have to take some crazy experimental vaccine to deal with bird flu or pig flu or whatever they're scaring us about, right? So thousands of parents were coming up to us, and the vaccine issue was one we dealt with, but we also dealt with many others when it comes to people who are conspiracist or dealing with red pill information and so on. So it was great. And then we got some infiltration and we got broken up and so on and did different stuff and blah, blah, blah. But the point is that I was reflecting on all of that. And the words came to my mind, the Rudyard Kipling poem Words, which I didn't know it was his per se, or I'd known and forgotten it. I don't know. But I didn't study it. But I remember there was the words that popped into my head were, if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs, then you'll be a man, my son. So I was like, man, you know what? That's making me feel better as a man who wants to keep my head when all about me are losing theirs and be a man and get something good done and help people out so that they're not all messed up, right? So I was like, man, I got to look that up. And so I just typed in the words, if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs, you'll be a man, my son, right? Because I wanted to know where that was from. And at Toronto Truth Seekers, we also put up posters, handed out flyers. We did a whole bunch of amazing stuff that would still work very well today offline as part of the offline information war. Meetings, meet with each other, have great conversations, go for dinner afterwards or go for lunch before, get together, be a united front. Don't just be a bunch of protesters yelling and screaming, we think you suck. Oh, yeah, we think you suck. Oh, yeah, we think you suck. Well, what's the problem? Well, we can't really talk to each other much because we don't respect each other like polite ladies and gents. So let's just yell at those people yelling at us, right? Or protests in general, right? Like the G20 martial law protest in Toronto in 2010, which I tried to stop when I had a radio show at the time. And I was saying, when the government invites you to a fight with the cops, don't go. It's a setup, right? It's a setup. The government's inviting you to a fight with their cops, and you're going to look bad. Hate these stupid protesters. The cops are going to look bad. Look at those evil cops beating up on those protesters. We just both look like crap with this stupid staged fight that happened at the G20 summit, the summit of 20 of the most powerful nations in the world. That was held in Toronto in 2010, where they erected giant concrete fences and barricades. They brought in 20,000 cops because, again, they were bringing the cops in to fight with protesters. And I was saying, don't do that. F a protest. I'm not saying they're always bad. I'm not saying you can't get together, show strength and solidarity that way once in a while. But I think generally the offline information war is better, where you hand out posters and flyers and DVDs, or you set up shop somewhere and you politely engage with people, and then people who come by and go, screw you, loser, you're crazy, you people are this, and you're just polite, patriotic Canadians or polite, patriotic people where you live going, all right, buddy, look, we're getting along with each other and the other people that want to get along with us. Do you want to have a conversation about this and hear what we have to say? And we're totally open to hearing what you have to say, because we're confident in what we believe and you're confident in what you believe, so we can, and maybe you'll convince us. Maybe we'll learn something. Totally, that's what happened before. That's why we're here. We open-minded and we're intelligent and so on. Screw you, buddy! It's like, okay, so you look way worse than we do, right? Now, do you want to believe what that guy believes? That screaming nuisance, freaking out on people and making everyone uncomfortable to make a point about how wrong we are and how right they are. It's like they look like way more of a mess, right? Whereas you get a group of about 20 of us just sitting there chilling at a table and politely engaging with people, politely saying hi to people, ignoring people, not bothering, not making a big stink or a big mess. So we were just there every Saturday for 3 or 4 hours, just chilling, handing out posters, flyers, DVDs, and so on. And people would come up to us, they'd be curious. No, I've heard something about this. Or they'd say, oh, I don't know about that. And it's like, well, fair enough. Let's have a discussion. Sometimes you get more heated, sometimes less heated. But most of the time, it was polite, patriotic Canadians like ourselves, just chilling at a table full of stuff and engaging with the people that want to engage with us and ignoring the people that want to ignore us. And occasionally, some idiot nearby made themselves look bad and the rest of us look good. So there you go, right? So I was reflecting on my experiences with that and Adam Daniel Mazet talking about some of the crap convos people are having in Toronto, not respecting each other and being scared to say things, can't say anything different. Oh, it's too weird, too scary, too confusing, oh, who are you? Oh, where's that from? Oh, what do you really mean? We're always kind of lying and not saying what we mean, so what you mean must be a lie to hide some racist, sexist, phobic, Nazi, blah, blah. It's like, yuck, gross, right? It's gross, right? So you can't say anything different, but then you can't say anything the same because it's boring. What do you do? Say, talk about the weather. Oh, it's cold. Yeah, we all know it's cold. It's right in front of us. Or, oh, it's hot. Yeah, it's hot. Or, oh, I think racism's wrong. Yeah, you learned that when you were a little kid, right? Like, what are you supposed to talk about? Right? So that leads to the lying, bitchy, sketchy, sheepish, sideways stuff and people making each other uncomfortable to compensate for not being able to speak freely, encouraged to say less about less, and then that makes it harder to talk, and that replaces talking. And then anybody that can talk, that is polite, you're more worth bothering because you're less of a bother, and so you get all messed up by going back and forth or putting up with it, being a bitch or a bitch's bitch, pretend ugly sketchy girlfriend, busting your balls. Guys do it, make each other do it, put up with it. Girls, kids then have to. What else you gonna do with guys like that? And then it makes it harder and harder to talk, and they do that more and more, right? So I also spent a few years working on it on and off. manforwars.com, the history section goes through all that. It's got the last couple of years on video. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes it. Like, I've had somebody near me spazzing out, see a bunch of people over there chilling at the mall or subway station or just hanging out. And I was like, hey, not my thing. I'm avoiding them, looking away, holding something up to avoid it. But any of you guys want this person worked up bothering you, this pretend, not my sketchy old lady, but this pretend ugly sketchy old lady or ugly sketchy wife or husband or girlfriend or boyfriend just worked up and forcing you to put up with them and busting your balls and just kind of acting sketchy and weird near you. Any of you want to enjoy this? Not my thing. But if you can just do this in public and you can just go up to people and do that, like you could go up and politely ask for the time or where's the nearest coffee shop or directions or whatever. If you can just do that and people are cool with it, then I'm not me, but they seem to be really into it. Any of you want to put up with it? No, nobody wants to put up with it. People aren't comfortable. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants to talk about it. So I often don't. But I found an end run around that as well. And I've got a bunch of that on video and more explanations at manforwars.com. So I proved everything in terms of how that sucks and blah, 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 and what it's doing to people and how it's okay to say be nice and everyone likes be nice and then say get bad guys. They say, well, we all like be nice and we probably, some people should get bad guys to make sure they don't get us. So, okay, fine. So it's okay. Right? And in a multicultural, diverse city like Toronto, as I said, make it work here. Everybody cool with it. Can work anywhere in the world where you have the freedom to, respect each other and communicate. Generally speaking, in a democracy, in the West, in parts of the East or North or South or whatever, you can do this, right? And so good to go. And even Go Transit had a better etiquette campaign, which is a transit system in Toronto that travels to, from, and around the city. So a lot of people own cars because they live outside the city and they work in the city and they take the Go train and bus instead of driving. And yet when people were acting too rude on the Go trains and buses and complaining to Go Transit, they were like, okay, we don't want to lose our riders and have them drive instead because people are being too rude to each other. We'll put up a better etiquette campaign, and after 6 months, 85% of people said they liked it, 40% reduction in antisocial behavior, thousands of social media impressions say good idea. So we all like be nice campaigns, and so we can have those anywhere in the world so people act nice enough to look, talk, and feel great, and they act nice enough to talk offline about what they learn online and possibly share it in a more formal way with others. So everything's in the bags. Everything's easy. I've already confirmed all this multiple times. Lots of people around. I've done it inside places, giant mall like the Eaton Center, 5,000 people there, Bay Street, some of the richest and smartest people in Canada working there. I've done it outside. I've done it on King Street West, people partying. And, what I get a lot is, lying bitches begging to be broken. People who run up, try and force you to see them look ugly, pretend bitchy, sketchy, ugly girlfriend, acting stupid in public, embarrassing themselves, making everyone around uncomfortable, and then I ignore it, like you're supposed to, and they get off on it, and they come up by the thousands. You can see my YouTube channel, where I've got me saying stuff or me not saying stuff, just headphones on, sunglasses, reading my phone, either covering my face this way or looking away, and you can see just people running, a steady stream of people running, spazzing out, trying to force you to see them play with their hair, force you to see them get worked up and look at them or whatever, and they just run up near you and they just run away, and they just run up near you and run away, and they just run up near you and run away, and they do this for fun at lunch on Bay Street for an hour and a half, or an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, as long as my laptop battery lasts. And I'm not doing it hiding with little webcam or little whatever, whether I'm saying something or I'm quiet. I'm doing this with a 17-inch laptop with a webcam, right? So I'm not trying to sneak up on people and catch them doing this. They are doing this while I'm talking about it, or while I've got an open webcam, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm just reading my phone. Maybe I've got my toque low, and I'm making sure I avoid it. Don't get all messed up and then be a mess for other people. Keep your self-respect. Don't lose yours. Take others. Help people have it. And they're just running up. Sometimes it seems like, oh, screw you, loser. Oh, thank you, soldier. Lying bitch, beggity broken. I needed that. Screw you, loser. You with your laptop. Put up with me. Oh, thank you, soldier. I'm glad you ignored me. I'm a lying bitch, beggity broken. I really needed that. And that's the brainwashing, right? That's how people act, right? So all this is on my mind, and there's more at manforwars.com. You can see. You can support the manforwars.com efforts. As I said, PayPal, direct deposit, links below. Get in touch with questions or answers, or to work together, or to help out, or whatever. Because ultimately, I think I've got this in the bags. Men want to feel useful. Women want to feel special. One of the reasons I'm such a confident guy in such a great mood is I think this is incredibly useful. Whether people use it or not is something that's up to them. But I know it's fine. I've had some security, some cops come up to me once in a while, ask me what I'm up to. I say, promoting polite patriotism, little conversations, cool, as long as I'm not too loud and obnoxious and too much of a jerk, and that'll happen. Ignoring people acting rude puts you in a good mood, like hanging up on a rude telemarketer, click, feel better, make a cup of tea, watch some YouTube. That's better. Not happy it happened, but happy that you hung up and you got out of it, and you're good, right? You have some self-respect, because dealing with some jerk for no reason, right? So that'll sometimes make you, speak too loud or whatever, or too confident or whatever. That'll happen. And I'll get a little pushback. And I'm totally fine with that. In fact, I think all guys should do that with all guys, is make sure they're a check and balance on excess, right? People in general, but especially men, because men can make sure they're cool, and other guys are cool, and women and kids are cool, and where they live is cool. Or they can do the opposite, which is what's happening today, which is make sure they're not cool. Oh, bitch, yeah, you know how it is. Everything sucks. No, I just like silly stuff. I like bacon and beer. And then make sure the women are all messed up. Oh, okay, fine. You're a sullen bitch or a silly bitch, or I'm a shrill bitch. Got to get something done. Life is suffering. And then kids, little bitchy, snarky kids, don't respect each other, can't communicate, can't raise them right? That's the opposite of that. So that's why I've got manforwars.com. But that gives you some context, and that's my personal situation, sort of in a nutshell, right? Big nutshell, but hey, you got big nutshells, you got big nutshells. And then for you and for other people out there, people that are interested in understanding this as a red pill anthem, this Rudyard Kipling poem, If, is amazing, right? I looked it up, I read it, I love it. I Googled, or I looked looked for it on YouTube. I saw a bunch of other people reading it. There's Dennis Hopper from the 1970s on the Johnny Cash show, classic legendary actor Dennis Hopper with classic legendary late country singer Johnny Cash on his TV show reciting it. Many others reciting it. Kevin Spacey, disgraced actor, but still a very fine actor, reciting it, and so on. So it's not that it's not known. In fact, according to Wikipedia here, If is a poem by English Nobel laureate Rudyard Kipling, written circa 1895, and it was first published in Rewards and Fairies in 1910, and it's written in the form of paternal advice to the poet's son, John. So this is him giving some advice to his son on how to be a man, and it was inspired by Leander Starr Jameson. He was a military man who tried to lead a failed Jameson raid against the Transvaal Republic to overthrow the Boer government of Paul Kruger, which is, I believe, in South Africa. And it started off some tensions in the Second Boer War around 1900. So this is a bit from Wikipedia on that. So inspired by a military hero and giving advice to his son on how to be a man, and then bringing it to the present for today's red pill generation, how do you produce more great online content? Or online is fine, how do you win the offline information war? Make sure people locally can discuss and share great online info to inform and empower people where they live. Because otherwise people are uninformed and disempowered, and then instead of empowered people who want to empower others, you have disempowered people that want to seek power over others by making you put up with them. And that's the opposite of what should be happening. So that's why this is so important, and this can help. And what I'll do now, after I cleanse my poetic palate a bit, is I will read this poem, If, by Rudyard Kipling, If with a big long line after it. And this is from poetryfoundation.org. There you go. And I'll put a link to it below. So Rudyard Kipling, If, from Brother Square Toes, Rewards and Fairies was the book. It says here, if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good or talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on, if you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and, which is more, you'll be a man, my son. And that's Rudyard Kipling's If. And you can see how it relates to the red pill information. Some of my experiences, there's probably parallel ones out there of people trying things, getting frustrated, being unable to communicate about some of the things they're passionate about with many of the people around them. And so yeah, so that's why I've got manfulwars.com to help with that. I'm not saying it's the only thing, right? But when people are worked up and bothering each other, and then they want to make that just what they do, and they think they're supposed to, and then they get embarrassed and lie and argue and try and make sure they do bother you until you don't like each other, and then you go bother other people, right? When that's the other side of this, then obviously you need to do something. And at manfulwars.com, all I ever wanted to do, first of all I wanted to do was politely and quietly mind my business and live and work in a nice place with nice people and get some red pill stuff done on the side. But because if you mind your business, you're just more of a target for bitchy zombies bothering people and making more bitchy zombies who bother people. It became harder and harder, right? And affected more and more people and so on. So I definitely have that solved. And what I'd like to do is all I want to do is get the balls rolling and get the eggs sighted. Right? Just get the balls rolling, get the eggs sighted. Push for bigger balls and unscrambled eggs. Get guys talking, respecting each other, able to communicate well, feeling some sense of responsibility when it comes to the bigger issues. I know you shouldn't say anything for the present. Shh, don't say anything. We're not supposed to say anything. But when it comes to the future, you're totally screwed. So you got to find the right balance, and get the girls in a good mood with a bunch of cool guys, nice girls, cute kids, and people generally and consistently empowering each other. And then from there, it's a better place to live with better people, and they can get better stuff done to make it an even better place in the future. So that's the idea. It's not all on me. I can certainly do a lot. The more help I get, the more help I can offer. But I can help other people be, even better at it. So if some giant Navy SEAL guy's like, hey boy, can you scale a 12-foot concrete wall with your bare hands? I'm like, no man, I can barely do box jumps. I work out once in a while and this and that. Well, get out of the way. It's like, fine man, go. Don't act like a bitch or a bitch's bitch. Just get out of here, run, go, do stuff. You, badass dudes, fine-ass chicks, cops, soldiers, intelligence, think, go, run. Get some stuff done, run. Guys, girls, kids, everyone, run, go. Not just, act stupid, feel sorry for yourself, but because you act stupid and bother people, they don't feel sorry for you, and then kind of, suffer that way or put up with people doing that, right? So ultimately, get the balls rolling, get the eggs sighted, push for bigger balls and unscrambled eggs, bigger balls, unscrambled eggs, and we're good to go. And that's why I've got manfulwars.com. As for the poem, If, I recommend, you kind of look at it, study it closely. I heard a podcast about it with Jocko Willink, big muscular guy, Jocko, Jocko Willink, I think Willink, which was a couple hours where he spends the first hour and a half or so going through, each line of that poem and laying it out there in more detail. And I could do the same, but I kind of instead reverse engineered it by explaining some red pill stuff and then giving you the poem. But yeah, I just recommend you get familiar with it, because if you're struggling out there, like a lot of great works of art, it can probably help. So there you have it. So BK Black Krishna from manfulwars.com. Check out the Man for Wars website. Feel free to comment and subscribe and share and chop up any clips you think might help people or pass it on. Get in touch with any questions or answers or things you want me to discuss or to work together on something or with financial support. And otherwise, yeah, BK Black Krishna from manfulwars.com. I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.